up, people? It is I, the guy who made the video that apparently everyone liked. I hit 3K subscribers off this video alone, so I'm gonna make this as an excuse for a celebration video. And warning, big warning, this video may also act as more of a rant, because good God, did this take a while. I don't know how, and I don't know when, but apparently in the first 48 hours, I've already gotten over 20 times more views than second place, which was Static, which is also a good video, I'd say too. But anyway, the video is already number 2 all time in my videos, only behind the video of whatever the hell this is. I genuinely do not remember making this, but for some reason, literally 10 times the people subbed to me right now decided, yeah, I want to watch this. Like, how in the f*** did this video get number 1? Wait, what was that? And apparently somehow this video got popular enough that this little delinquent decided to track me down on Discord. Like, what in the hell? But onto the actual video. This project took me 10 months, if you're counting the basic prototype animation of what I was doing prior to the actual renders. But I think it should still count since it's still the same base music anyways. Well, minus that's Diplotegy versus, whoever made it first, I forgot. Alright, so back in August, I found this thing called Shucks back in late 2024. And it was some weird looking FNF mod that was based off SML. Looked pretty nice. I wanted to, you know, look at it again every so now and then because it was like a growing animation community because there were different versions of the song, there were different animations of the song, and eventually some guy made his whole own music video of lyrics with it instead of it just being a random FNF song, which is where I based it off of, which is Diplotegy. But for now, obviously, late 2024, none of that happened yet, so I was doing other stuff like Johnny's Inferno, a parody of Charlie's Inferno, which is also a nice song too, you should listen to that. My animation's a bit tier on that, so I don't know about that. When that was done, I made other videos like Intermission Time, which was my best performer all time, but is now my number 5th, which I guess says a lot of good things about my channel, at around 7.3k views now, which we've already passed within like, what, 18 hours? Good God. My 2k sub announcement, when that happens, Businessman from Tom Cardy, Unhealthy Obsession for Blake Robinson Synthetic Orchestra. Whoa. Blake Robinson Synthetic Orchestra. Otukare Summer by How Cali, in a video if I was quitting or not, which, spoiler, I didn't. Then version 2 of Shucks came out, which instead of having these lyrics, they have these lyrics. So that's what I did, except the major issue is that I wasn't really good at animating yet. Like, I was more good with point A to point B and some fast movements and whatnot, but I definitely did not have the skill for the new animation video that I did in comparison to the original prototype, you could say. There is a reason it's ranked 24th out of all my videos. And then Static by Flavor Folly came out, which I did make a music video on, but do know I based the animation off of It's Sure Boy. Although the animation is original, the layout is not. Surprisingly, Static would be the last video I made for the last 2 years that didn't have another video within 3 weeks of it uploading because I was exhausted from doing all that. So I decided to make a video about why I didn't upload that month, like you watched. And that would be the last complete video I make for 8 months. And what did I have to show for that period? 5 work in progress videos of a 40-second clip of what I promised was going to be at least 5 minutes. But there's a reason for that. First off, this is a completely new rig for me. This is the first animation I ever had with a full Dex rig, and not because I ever used, you know, of course, any GT rig before, but because it had new controls, its sliders, and new dynamic eyelids and mouse, and so on. Plus, for this animation, I actually had to genuinely use Blender in many ways, like texture manipulation, skybox color change, and lighting based off frame by frame. Like you could see in some of the shots of the music video that I uploaded, there are parts where the texture on the Gorilla Tag skins look a little like whitish compared to whatever color they're actually supposed to be, like orange, blue, red, whatever, because the lighting got so close and I didn't notice that one specific frame, so on. At first, I only had 3 rigs I was going to use, orange, red, and blue, to represent the 3 main characters, which is essentially Best Buy Brooklyn Guy, Marvin, and Rose. Which, I don't know if you didn't know, but 2 rigs can push a simple 12 FPS animation down to 8 because for some reason every GT rig's face textures have to take up like 50% of my pre-built PC CPU. But anyways, I thought that would be it, until I looked back on Diplotegy's video before I started really animating, and I realized there was an initial dark scene in the room where he used black solid colors and white outlines, which I could have used on the same rigs I already had, but I was too stupid to realize that, so I added an extra 2 rigs for Brooklyn and Marvin. And yes, I'm gonna keep saying Brooklyn because Does Evil Things guy sounds goofy as shit. So my Blender FPS was already down to 5 on texture view, and it took me like a second for it to actually let me start playing the video in regular viewport, so I was already kind of cooked until I found the user library, because I could actually save keyframes like mouth shapes and face presets, so I didn't have to constantly go through the views and check every single time for whatever stuff I need, so that was good there. Until I remembered something big, something massive, you could say. Something that will make this project even more stupidly long. There are corpses in the original song's visual. And that doesn't sound like a lot, but the problem is that there's a lot, and I am using GT rigs, which alone, their existence pulls my FPS down half and makes loading twice as long. So at that point, I was like, alright, well screw it, I'm gonna go down to 0.1 FPS anyway, so I'll just put in the canonical amount. Until I searched it up and realized it was 27. And I added them. I added all 27, which doesn't seem like a lot until you realize what happens in texture view. Let me play it for you right now.
Yo, this new shader pack is sick.
Oh yeah, I gotta try it. I wonder if my PC can handle shaders. Wait, what's that noise? Like my PC!
Yeah, not so good. And then I had to pose them all, animate them all, reposition them all, change their faces, and even move them out the frame whenever they block the camera. It was a whole thing I dealt with for like a week because I am not dealing with 5,000 frames worth of that BS in one night. Plus it was exam season. Oh yeah, did I mention we're still in February? But then I finished all of that, and now I only have to deal with actually animating the rest of the characters. Because I didn't mention this yet, but over half the keyframes was just basic point A to point B blueprints for my 3 mains, and I didn't even have mouth or face motion yet. I'm not going to make much of a fuss about the basic animations of the characters, because obviously the animation is more like C, B tier quality, let's be honest. I am not the best Gorilla Tag animator. Easily that title goes to Nolan, Shade, hell I'd even put Gibson TV up there, even though his last Gorilla Tag animation was 4 years ago. That's how good that guy was. I don't think my character wasn't hard, since even though I didn't have to do most of it in a texture view, it's a lot easier to go frame by frame in 12 FPS and 24 FPS in my opinion, and I already have mouth presets saved to my user library. Unfortunately for faces, because I actually had to see what their eyes looked like and whatever during emotions, I had to keep loading and unloading the texture view way quicker to do because I didn't have to worry about anything else, so I just constantly did that for a couple days. And then I finally got it rendered and I was ready to edit it until... Wait a minute. Why is it a 144p? Oh yeah, Blender has this really cool slider you can change resolution on manually so that any whip animations can be easily made without changing the camera size or ease of quick viewing. I turned this down when I made whip 1. Speaking of my whip videos, I probably spent over 3 weeks on the cutscene specifically due to the fact I made 4 versions of it if you look back on the whips in the final product, and on top of that I had to manually animate the cutscene black bars on the top and bottom, text, lighting, FOV manipulation, etc. Do not be surprised if I make another refined version of this cutscene because I simply could have spent all my time on it and it was only about 25 to 30 seconds of almost 7 minutes of the whole music video. Then I finally spent 10 hours waiting on it to actually render at regular resolution of 920 by 1080, then edited it, then published it the next day. So unless if I missed anything, that should be all I need to talk about, so yeah, bye bye.